What are some red flags for teachers that scream, "Drop this class immediately"? Story 1. Professor claims she didn't allow people to step out of class to use the bathroom. You're all adults, not children. You can hold it. Exactly, lady. We're adults. We paid to be here, and adults have to use the bathroom. Story 2. Tenured organic chem prof. Any questions? 50 hands go up. Prof. It's a fairly simple concept, so you'll get there. Let's move on. Wait, stop it. So this guy's got 50 kids' hands up, right? Trying to figure out what on earth is he talking about, because I don't know. Does anyone else know what that means? Because I surely don't, but then again, I never know what anything means, do I? As you guys know. But yeah, and he's just moving on. Like, you're paid to answer the questions, hun. Maybe he doesn't even know what it means, and he's like, you'll get there, it's easy enough. Saying that though, I bet loads of teachers do that, don't they? I bet you there's so many teachers that actually don't know what they're going on about either. Like, just think of it. I bet there is. Story 3. When she decides to drop one of her exams and assign a 30-page paper instead, promising that it will be an easier assignment. Wait, gang, I thought this was like a red flags for teachers, so it'd be like the kids being naughty. So they would like, okay, this is time to drop this class now. But this is turning out to be more like a red flags for students as well to drop the class. Or again, have I got the wrong end of the stick? Because knowing me, I probably have. You guys must get so fed up with me by the end of these videos. Also, guys, so sorry if my breathing and voice is annoying. I'm actually still poorly and I can't breathe through my nose now. So I have to breathe through my mouth constantly. So that's why I sound like a heavily obese 80-year-old. I've never seen an old obese person. Think about that, seriously. I've never seen someone old that's obese. Weird. Story 4. No laptops, all code will be handwritten. Yeah, that really happened. Story 5. When they read the PowerPoints word for word. I can do that at home. Teach, please. Story 6. The use of McGraw-Hill Connect if the class isn't absolutely necessary. Okay, what in the cheese is McGraw-Hill Connect? And when I say cheese, I hope you know what I mean in the comments, so let me know. Thank you. Story 7. These books are required for the class. I wasn't able to get the revision into the bookstore in time, so the only place you can get them is from me directly or from my website. I will warn you, if you don't buy the books, you won't get the login information to be able to take the final, which is 90% of your grade. Oh, and no, I can't accept financial aid for them, but it's only $250, so it's not a big deal. I've never seen an entire class get up 5 minutes in and leave before. So true. Guys, this is what I used to think at uni. I was like, hun, I've just paid you $36,000 to be here, and you're telling me I've got to spend more money on books? Can you not provide that to me free of charge, involved in the sum of money that I've given you that will keep me in debt for the rest of my life? Yeah, can we think about that for a second, please? Stick your book up your beep. Story 8. I had a professor that in hindsight I really should have dropped. It was a Western civilization history class, and the first day the entirety of the class he spent talking about how he missed his old job teaching in Europe because American students are more lazy and incapable of getting as high of grades. Then he showed intro YouTube videos from his personal laptop hooked to a projector, and all of the recommended videos all had titles like Grinding with Thong, Sexy College Babe Grinding, etc. I thought he was just eccentric, but the guy was easily the worst teacher I have ever had. He would expect you to totally memorize all the chapters he would quiz on material that didn't matter for concepts. I.e., what was the name of Caesar's second cousin? When the information would be found in a huge family tree. The only students in the class with A's were women, and he would grade their quizzes differently and be much more lenient. The students compared quiz results. Someone in class called him out and he said that he was tired of teaching Americans and doesn't get paid enough. Literally. Guys, okay, let me let you into a little secret of mine here. Well, it's not really a secret, but when I was in secondary school, okay, my teacher said to me, well, not just to me, he said to us as a class, he said to the women in his class as a whole, when we used to wear skirts to school, okay, it was just the school uniform. And he said, close your legs or that'll be my lunch. Just take that in for a while. My teacher actually said that to his students. And at the time, it just completely went over our heads. No one even thought of it as strange. I'm guessing because we were young, innocent and naive. But now looking back, I'm thinking, geez, That is very illegal and very, very inappropriate. So yeah, he must have gotten away with that for years. I wonder if he still works at that school, but yeah, guys, isn't that awful? Story 9. Pride in the difficulty of their course. If everyone fails, it's not for an inability to learn, but for an inability to teach. Story 10. This class will be using a textbook that I'm writing and editing during this semester. Translation. It's going to be amateur hour. In addition to trying to learn new stuff, you're paying the school for the Story 11. Day 1 of grad school for electrical engineering. Multivariable Laplace transforms. Everyone takes their seats and Professor smiles and says in a thick Russian accent, "This first class I teach, okay?" Now, I don't want to get any rubbish off you lot for my Russian accent, okay? Because I think it's actually very good. What we thinking? Story 12. Had a drawing professor that put a stack of pre-signed withdrawal forms on his desk. Told us to grab one when we were ready. Story 13. Over the winter break of my freshman year, I was diagnosed with a degenerative bone disease in my knees, which meant I had to use crutches for a while, then eventually a wheelchair for a time. I was late to my Philosophy 101 class due to adjusting my newfound limitations. I apologised for my tardiness and tried to find my seat without making a fuss. As I was making my way across the classroom, my philosophy teacher remarked, "Everyone, let's just patiently wait for the cripple here to get to his seat." It's possible she'd believed I was one of several skiing injuries that the student body had incurred over winter break. But either way, after that first day, I never came back to that class. Story 14. Think that their students should only focus on this particular class for the upcoming semester as if they should spend all their time on it. Story 15. Give a test on the first day that will be counted against you. Had one of my mathematics teachers do this. Story 16. The required textbook is a saran-wrapped package of loose leaf papers that cost $100, authored by the professor. Story 17. When the teacher doesn't even explain anything, he just goes on YouTube and shows the class a video and everyone's left without a clue of what's going on. I dropped computer science because of this, and I'm glad that I did. Also, when the teacher hardly ever explains anything and insists on independent research. More like, I can't be asked to prepare lessons, so just go ahead and do it yourself. Ah, that's what independent research is it? When you can't be bothered. Because we had a lot of that in uni, and trust me, I don't even think I learnt much at uni, honestly. Like, I've learnt more after graduation and just looking into things myself. Like, I definitely did not need to pay all that money. But I mean, it was fun. It was basically just a time to be drunk every day. So, I mean, no regrets, but independent research. This makes everything make sense. Story 18. Too many people got A's last semester, so I'm changing my syllabus for you all. Story 19. When the history teacher makes the German exchange student cry for simply being German. Story 20. You should drop all your other classes because this course will require a lot of time and effort. Story 21. Back when I started college, I got straight A's in a class. But when I went to check on my overall grade, I had a B+. I found it odd and went to question my teacher about it, and he said that he dropped down my grade because the class was a bit of a pain in the bum. He didn't use those exact words, but that's what he meant. Then I questioned him again about my posture, asking if I did anything wrong, or disturbed class, or whatever. He promptly said I didn't, and that I was a great student, which made me ask again, why is my grade lower then? He told the same excuse from above. Then I asked if he was planning on changing my grade at all, since I had only A's, and he promptly said he wasn't going to change. Fast forward a few days, I ended up filing a complaint about him and his method of grading students, and the college made him change my grade. After that, he approached me and said something like, "Hey, you didn't have to file a complaint about me. I was going to fix your grade." Yada yada. Oh, absolute classic. Do you know what I mean? Absolute classic. I don't think teachers actually realise how much us as like young children think of our grades. Like, we think they're genuinely going to dictate the rest of our life, and that power is in our teachers' hands. Okay, if they don't like you, they're grading you lower. Like, if they genuinely don't like you, you're getting graded lower, and you might not get your dream job. No, I'm joking. School, like, grades actually mean nothing. Like, the stuff I've done in my life, grades mean absolutely nothing. But when I was a kid, right, I thought they were the be all and end all. I was like, no, not a D. Like, I'm gonna be nothing. I'm gonna be no one. Still no one. Still nothing. I'm joking, but guys, focus on your grades. Do well in school. It's important. It's good. But it's not the end of the world. okay? I wasn't completely contradicting myself there, by the way, guys, either. I mean, they are important, but they're important for you as a person, to show that you can do it and that you're a smart bean. Do you know what I mean? That's what I mean by important. Story 22. I'll make the class too hard and curve the class average to a C, because C is average. Story 23. Get out the science textbooks and work on Chapter 5, Activity 1. Proceeds to sit down at their desk to do random poo on their computer. Story 24. 2-hour in-class pre-recorded PowerPoint lectures from 2008. Because it saves time for me, and please don't ask questions until after the end of my PowerPoint. This was in 2017. Story 25. This is my first time teaching, so you'll be my guinea pigs. Her test averages were low 50s with no scaling. It was great. Story 26. The instructor either seems to have trouble speaking in the language in which the class is being taught, or their accent is so thick that it's difficult to understand them. While plenty of people are incredibly knowledgeable about their topic of interest without being great at multiple languages, the fact of the matter is that you're not going to learn much if you're going to have to devote so much of your attention into just figuring out what the instructor is saying. Story 27. I've had teachers that I just simply couldn't understand due to a language barrier, and in hindsight, I should have dropped immediately. I learned that basically, if you can't understand what the teacher's saying, be prepared to teach yourself a lot of the class. I had an accounting teacher one time who was Chinese, and I remember sitting in that class on the first day scratching my head because I had no idea what she was saying. I looked around, and a lot of the other people had the same look on their faces. The next week, I showed up to class, and what was once a classroom of about 40 people was now about 12. I should have known right there to drop, but I didn't. I stuck it out, and a few weeks went by, and it didn't get any better. I got my first test back and completely bombed it. I told myself right then that I was going to have to teach myself the material and that coming to class was pointless. So I taught myself accounting by using the textbook. Since I didn't go to class, I missed all of our pop quizzes but just told myself I'll make it up on the tests. I only showed up for tests in the final and lo and behold, I passed the class. Oh yeah, okay, a language barrier with a teacher would be a difficult obstacle to overcome. I can definitely agree there. Can't relate, never been through the same kind of thing, but I can definitely agree with you, okay? But I mean, the fact that you taught yourself pretty much the curriculum through a textbook, right? That just shows we can all do it. We don't need to pay unis these huge sums of money. We can actually teach ourselves through a textbook. Like, that's crazy. Or you're just really smart. Yeah, we'll just leave that one there. Story 28. When they really put down good students for small mistakes. Story 29. There's a huge waitlist of students for a different section with a different professor. Oh, and she doesn't speak your native language well enough to communicate the class material. Yes, you will go to class, study for tests, and do all of the bonus projects, but rest assured you'll get the first C of your college career in a damn general education requirement because of her. Story 30. If all your professor does is read from the textbook, then drop that class, if you can. Sometimes you need it for your major or a time conflict, but if you can, drop it. You know how to read. Story 31. My name is Konstantin Makarov. I was a nuclear physicist in Russia. This course will not be easy. Not all will survive, but we can get through it together. First words uttered by my differential equations professor. I don't even know what differential equations are, okay? There's no way in my life I'm ever studying that. Like, I can't lie to you. What is that? What's it about? Is it some kind of mathematical topic? Because if it is, I'm out. Maths is my weak point. I've got no idea how to add, multiply, divide, you name it. I cannot do it. I really struggle with it. So yeah, that doesn't sound like that's not a bit of me. Let's put it that way. Not a bit of me. All right. Story 32. If they segregate students. I had an American history class where on the first day, the teacher told everyone that no one was to sit in the furthest left row of seats. Those seats were reserved for what she called idiots. Idiots were people who arrived late for class, okay? My class before this ended 5 minutes before this class did and was on the other side of campus. I took the safe route and dropped the class. This was before the school made it a rule that you had to have 10 minutes between classes, and the professor was an adjunct professor. On an unrelated note, I had an English teacher at this same school that thought when someone had a number on the back window of their car, a number the DMV makes you put there due to some issue with your registration, it meant that they were bad drivers and essentially on notice. She thought this because she said she had only ever seen Asian drivers with them. The girl who explained what it actually meant knew because she had one. and was also Asian. The last teacher I know for a fact no longer works as a teacher. Story 33. No one will get an A in this course because... insert some philosophical highbrow ball-poo answer. Story 34. If they do icebreakers not just on the first day, but the second day as well, it means they have no idea what they're doing. That reminds me of my icebreakers at uni. Oh, they were literally games that I used to play in primary school. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm talking about, guys? Like, what was it called? Zip, zap, boing? Who remembers that game? You're all in a circle and you're like, zip, zap. It's like you have to reverse it if someone zips you. I can't remember what it was now. But just things like that. It's like, I'm at uni, love. I paid 36 grand to come here. Sorry, I said that already on this video, but am I making one point clear yet? Am I making my point? But I'm like, sorry, I paid 36 grand to be here, and you're making me run round like a 3-year-old. Like, it's not on, son. You know what I mean? It's not on. But I didn't do that. I actually joined in the games, and I loved it. My whole degree was kind of just games, in a way. Story 35. Was a freshman in college. Needed to get some science credits with a lab. Took geology because I wanted to try something besides bio that I just took in high school. The teacher gave a speech the first day of class about how it gets under her skin that people take geology just because they're required to take a lab and just assume that it will be an easy A. So, she said, this class will not be an easy A, and then proceeded to make it hard as frick. Like, make it challenging so people will be engaged, but make it nigh impossible to pass just to prove a point. Story 36. I had some issues with my schedule and wasn't registered for a particular course on the first day of class, so I registered and attended on the second day. He'd already paired up the class into groups of 3 and 4 on day 1 for a project that would span the entire course and count for a large part of our grade. When I asked if I could be joined into a smaller group, he told me no, that I could do the work solo for the semester. I was peeved, but needed that course as a prerequisite for something I needed next semester, so I silently fumed. After week 2, I had failed 2 reports because he just didn't like what I wrote. Not that the reasoning, research, or writing was unsound, he just didn't like the subject, so he gave me failing grades. I dropped the class, took it with another teacher the next semester, and graduated a semester late because of it. I don't regret it. He was a horrible teacher, and I'm sure my mental health would have suffered if I'd continued in his class. Story 37. Reviews on Rate My Professor. There were a few times that the student was just mad that they got a low grade, but more often than not, they are spot on. Wait, hold the phone. Hold the conch shell, SpongeBob. A Rate My Professor. Don't tell me that there's a page where you can rate teachers at different schools, because I wish I would have known this, okay? I wish. That's got to be an American thing, because I'm 10,000% sure we do not have anything like that here. Like, guys, please leave me a link for this in the comments, sorry. Please leave me a link. Cheese, if you're there, I know you'll leave it for me, baby. Story 38. Over half the class is retaking this class. More a reflection on the professor than the students. Story 39. Definitely one of the biggest things you need to consider is that even if there is a large workload, depending on the subject, it may help. You have to remember that the professor has to also grade this stuff. So assuming there's no TA doing all of the grading, it's extra work for him. It's not what you want to hear, but take, for example, my physical chemistry professor. He assigned 1 to 2 homework assignments per week, and they took anywhere from 3 to 6 hours on average to finish. It sucked bum. But instead of guessing on exams, I fully understood the material. This professor was always answering emails as well, within an hour at almost any time of the day. If they have poo response times, they probably won't be that helpful, and I'd recommend dropping. The most helpful professors I've had were the ones that answered emails ASAP. Okay, honey, well that says a lot, because I think my lecturer's response time at uni was probably about 3 working years. So, I mean, says a lot, hey? Nah, I'm joking. I need to stop complaining about uni. Uni was great. My course was quite good, but not worth 36 grand. Just gonna say that again for the people at the back who didn't hear. 36 grand. Okay. I mean, hate to babble on, but I think it was actually more than 36 grand in the end. I think it might have actually been like 45 grand. Oh, I'm actually feeling lightheaded, like just hearing that sum of money. 45 grand. Wow. Story 40. You have to buy this online book to have access to the online homework. When I can get the PDF of the book by various means. Who the hell wants to pay to do homework twice? See, I was going to reply to everyone, but then there's a buttload of comments. Pearson, Sapling, Hooks, Wiley, all of them are crooks in the book. I've been fortunate to not have any of those classes since sophomore year, but I did hate it when I did. It's a real shame college administrations, by and large, promote this tomfoolery for a bird dog fee. I don't see it ending soon, not without some sort of textbook industry collapse and rebirth. For the short term, if you can galvanise your classmates to discuss better and affordable options, there could be success there. It sounds idealistic, but sometimes just asking makes a big difference. Or maybe just a free cookie. Story 41. I've never taught this before, so I'll be learning along with you. Edit. She ended up getting double-teamed by 2 seniors and let go. Story 42. The opposite. Purchasing the book for this class will not be necessary. Save your money. I have a PDF copy if anyone needs it, but we will follow along together, and I have printouts of all the questions. When a teacher does that, I'm like, okay, they obviously care about making this a good experience and not wasting my time or money. Story 43. We'll be doing 3 group projects this semester. I will assign the group and it will be the same group for all 3 projects. No. Story 44. The teacher talks as if he's from r/I am very smart. Story 45. 70% of students will fail this class. Get the frick out. Okay guys, and that's a wrap on this video. Sorry, I do feel like I've just spoken about my uni expenses throughout the whole entire video, so apologies guys. But yeah, leave comments as always. Let us know your experiences, because we want to know your red flag teachers. So tell me, because there's nothing more entertaining than sitting down with a cup of tea and reading through your comments. So let me know, gang. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more videos coming daily.